Yes. Yep. Looking for the stream to go live here. There we go. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We are live with the developers of Pistol Whip at Cloudhead Games up there in Canada. We're going to check out the new style system today. I'm very, very excited about this. I am the Pistol Whip player on the staff here. I'm obsessed with the game. And I've been obsessed with these new modifiers, so I can't wait to see how they work and how it changes up the game. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you do for Cloudhead?
Sure. Hello. Thanks for having us. I'm Joel Green. I am the project lead and audio director on Pistol Whip. And we have two other people with us. So Cam, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Cameron Altman, gameplay lead on Pistol Whip. If you do a thing a lot of times in game, it's probably me.
Hi, and I'm Anthony. I'll be playing the game for you today. I'm writer designer on Pistol Whip, and you might know me as Quick Draw on the Discord.
So which modifier are we going to look at first today? And do you want to explain, give the overview of how this changes the game?
Yeah. Let's jump in. We did the kind of recent video in the showcase that showed off and kind of explained the system on a really basic level, but I figured not everyone saw that, so I'll probably just give a high-level overview of what's in the game now. So first of all, look around a bit, Anthony. We've got whole brand new front-end UI, much slicker and classier, and basically everything's been redone. And this has been kind of an evolving thing over the last, year and a half, but this was a big update, and the style system really changes a lot of things. So our awesome UI artists and environment artists have given the game a fresh new look, and we've added the style system. So what this is basically think of it like presets of modifiers. So you can now select a number of modifiers and a weapon type, which we've never really had before, and kind of group them together into a preset that we call a style, and easily select those and save them and kind of see what other people are playing. And each one of them is going to remix the game into feeling completely different depending on what's in it. And then on top of that, every single style has its own set of leaderboards. So it's a completely different way to handle modifiers from what we were doing before with the percentage kind of modifications to your score. So now you can compete in sort of any playing field that you like, and everybody on that board will be using the same mods. So that's kind of the core, the heart of it. But really what it comes down to is it lets us add a lot of cool new modifiers and weapon types to the game without having to worry about balancing everything perfectly through the percentages, because that was just going to become impossible at some point. So we're really excited about it. We consider this just like the kind of the launch of the feature. It's got, a core set of features that we think are great, but really we want to get the community in and see, how people like it and what they want to see in the future with it. And so we're kind of considering this the 1.0 version of this feature. And much like the base game itself, we'll continue to evolve and add to it as we go. So yeah, Anthony's looking at the styles menu right now. This is kind of takes the place of the old modifier area. Up at the top, you got he's in browse mode right now, so he's looking at kind of preset styles, and he's got looking at the basic list, which will just have a number of styles that, the kind of classic ones like Deadeye, Dual Wield, Classic. Classic is just like your basic pistol with no modifiers, and that's just a place for people to get started. If he looks at the featured area, then you get kind of a weekly featured set of styles that are going to be related to each other in some way, but there will always be a kind of lower intensity and a higher intensity version, and these will change out regularly, and they're just kind of a way to give people places to go and compete for that period of time. If he goes down to trending, this isn't currently taking real data because nobody's really playing this version of the game yet except for the devs. But this will show kind of the most popular styles. And so in there, you can always go and see what other people are playing basically and kind of find community that way. And then at the bottom, he's got his favorites, which, you know, any style you find, you can just shoot the big heart and it'll stay in your favorites list so you can come back to it later. So that's kind of the basics of that area. And then the customize menu or the customized mode is over here. So here you get to make whatever you want, make any style you want, or modify a style that you already had selected. So you can see on the left there, we have 5 weapon types, and this is brand new for Pistol Whip. We never had anything but the single pistol. We've always had, well, we had double pistols, I guess, but single pistol was, so the 16-shot pistol was the only thing we've ever had. So that's a nice bug where the song preview came on. So you've always been able to select different models for your pistol and gun skins and all that, but really those were just cosmetics, and those still exist. But now you can actually select any one of these weapon types, and they all affect gameplay in a significant way. So revolvers, that's one of our big new weapon types for the Smoke and Thunder campaign, and they are exactly what they sound like. They are 6-shot semi-auto pistols. We've got a bunch of new stuff. You open up the gun case, Anthony, we can show off a few of the revolver models. So the gun case now is contextual to whichever weapon type you have. So if Anthony selects pistols, you'll see it populate with the pistols. I think it'll do it live, Anthony, if you just shoot it. Or does it break something right now? I'm not sure. This is still an early build. So yeah, you can see the 3 different revolvers you get access to now. They're all 6 shots, so a little bit tougher. You gotta be more on top of your reloads. You got an audio bug there. I already filed that this morning.
A couple of questions I'm seeing in the comments. People asking if you can name styles or the names only for Cloudhead styles.
So the names... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ian.
And can you customize the other weapon types? That's the other question I'm seeing.
Yes, you can customize all of the weapon types. Some of them have more options than others because they're brand new. We have a lot of options for the original pistol because we've been adding them over the last 1.5 years. But every weapon type will have different models, and you can add skins and textures to all of them as usual. So yeah, you can kind of make your whole loadout as you could before with any of the weapon types. The naming of styles is interesting. So we're going to handle that on our side. And the reason for that is because styles are, you kind of want to think of them as like a shared space, right? Because every style has its own leaderboards. Everybody sees the same style names. So if people were able to rename them to be their own thing, then it would start to get hard to communicate, you know, where you were playing. So I could see us maybe adding that in the future, but for now it's basically like we will add the names on the back end, and we can have a lot of fun with that because we can name them on the fly. We don't have to update the game to name them. So we're thinking about doing things like tournaments where, you know, maybe the prize for the tournament is you actually get to name that style, and you get it. You know, of course, it would have to go through our lovely community manager Ashley, but you'd get to actually come up with the name for it, and it would forever be there, immortalizing you. So
the commenters are noticing the fist. They want to know what the fist is all about.
The fist is something we are going to show today. Should I just get right into it? I guess we'll go for it. So the fist is Brawler. It is a new weapon type that gives you melee weapons of your choice. You can flip them around. We have a pencil in there. Brass knuckles. We got a pencil, a freaking pencil, because, you know, John Wick used the pencil. Everyone should know that. The hammer. So we got some fun melee weapons that you can now use if you want to go just straight melee. So this replaces the old no ammo modifier. That's gone now and replaced with this. And you can customize them however you want, like any other weapon. There's actually a whole second page of these melee weapons that we've deemed too goofy to show in this stream, but we will show them off in a future point in time. So this is really fun. You got the gun at the top left, which if you've played 2089, you'll recognize that as the gun that you had in Cage Fight in Scene 2, that when you had no ammo. So that's still there as kind of your first brawler weapon, but there's plenty more to have fun with too.
Commenters have lost it. You've officially destroyed them with the pencil, the crowbar, everything there. And that, can you dual wield one of each? Did you say that?
No, you can't mix and match weapon types right now. And yeah, you can't mix and match like left and right as of right now, but that's potentially something we could add in the future.
I want to see the pencil pretty badly. Yeah. That's amazing.
We had to do it. As soon as we started talking about putting in melee weapons, we figured that, see, it's even called the freaking pencil. It's perfect. You can customize it however you want it to look.
That's so great. All right, what are you guys going to play first? What mode are you going to use first?
What do you think, Anthony? You wanna?
Sure. Well, do we want to show off a new mod? What are we thinking? We can show off revolvers.
You could do like old boy style with
yeah, let's do that.
brawler, and so the High Priestess scene was always kind of an homage to Old Boy, the movie, and the specific scene where the guy has a hammer and is making short work of many bad guys. So now you can relive those dreams with your hammers. And you know, again, what's so cool about this is a leaderboard. So like, if you want to get really good at just melee, that can be your niche. You know, you can own that. And there is no different leaderboard for hammers versus knives right now, but they're basically functionally the same. But it's just awesome that you can find styles that you really like now, and they're actually viable for competition. Previously, you could never really get a high score with this style, but it's all changed now. That's pretty much the old boy hallway there. So that's a little taste of brawler. We're super happy that it's now its own weapon type finally.
That's incredible. I'm so excited for that. And people are asking what that last menu item is. I don't think you're going to be talking about that one today.
So that one is the 5th weapon type that will remain a mystery for now, because it is something you'll see in Smoke and Thunder. It is very awesome and exciting, and we're gonna save it because we need to keep a little bit of stuff secret as a surprise.
All right, but I gotta ask about Bullet Hell and Deadeye. What is the game like when you put those two together?
Well, you're gonna get Anthony sweaty right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean he's the expert. He's the game maker. I gotta push him right to the edge.
I agree.
Okay, let's do full throttle.
What are you gonna do? Revolvers? Okay.
Yeah, I got revolvers. Oh, I got one revolver. Let's do 2 revolvers.
Yeah, you might want to. Cam, feel free to talk about the what it's actually doing if you want.
Oh yeah, so so obviously there's more bullets coming at you. Anybody that decides they want a bullet hell experience, we figure you're used to dodging bullets at their normal speed already, and we tuned the standard enemy projectile speed in Pistol Whip is something designed to give you lots of time to react to things. But with bullet hell, we figured maybe you want it to be a little harder, so they come at you a little faster as well. And that sort of figure 8 that everybody who plays a lot of Pistol Whip is used to doing, where you just kind of like bob up and left and down and up and right, isn't going to be as effective here. We add a little bit of spray, you know, just to make it a little harder to figure out exactly where you got to dodge the next one. And it should be noted there's a bunch of other mods that make bullet hell even, I wouldn't say worse, let's say more exciting. Make bullet hell a little more exciting if you figure that mod by itself doesn't result in enough lead spraying your way.
Yeah, the commenters, I'm seeing a lot of cuss words in our comments now. They're losing it on what they just saw. That's incredible. So what would you call that difficulty level? Is that expert plus 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 plus?
We just call it worst case scenario, I think. There will probably be an actual style called worst case scenario that is like I said, that for a lot of these styles with the new leaderboard system, like just getting a score on the board is going to be the goal.
Yeah, so it looks like what Anthony's playing with here is bullet hell with you have what, heavies and vengeance on as well?
Vengeance, yeah. And Deadeye, of course.
Oh,
and,
God.
And Deadeye, good stuff. Yeah, so for those of you who are familiar with vengeance, every time you shoot an enemy, they fire back. Heavies gives everybody twice as much health, and he's playing with dual burst guns right now, so he's got the ability to spray a bunch of lead downstream, and every time he shoots, that's another bullet coming, and bullet hell on top of that. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah, so as Cam mentioned, one of the new mods we're showing today is heavies, which is essentially double armor for all the enemies, which it's one of the mods that's not super exciting by itself, but when you pair it with other stuff, it becomes a interesting ingredient, especially with vengeance, because you get twice as many bullets coming back at you. So you can see on the customize menu, the mods are grouped on the top row. You have they're green when Anthony selects them, and the bottom row they're red. So we've kind of split them up so that you can tell at a glance which mods will make the game less intense and which ones will make it more intense. But I find, oh sorry, go ahead.
People are asking what the inspiration is for bullet hell. Was there any particular one for that?
I think
bullet hell game that has ever existed, pretty much.
Yeah, all the bullet hell games. I mean, I think we recognized pretty early on with Pistol Whip that it kind of is a bullet hell game, in a lot of ways. And so we just decided that we needed to go all the way with it.
Yeah, the first incidence of bullet hell in Pistol Whip actually predates Pistol Whip's launch. There was a bug that did about half of what bullet hell currently does, and we saw right then that it was going to be absolutely ridiculous if we did it on purpose. It was just never really possible to do in a meaningful way before this.
Yeah. So you could see there, Anthony went into cage fight with he's got guns in cage fight, which is exciting because this is the campaign scene that was never previously usable with mods, and you had to play it with no ammo. But so the way it works is that when you're in the campaign mode, you're still limited to the modifiers that the scene was designed for. But you can still use accessibility mods, so we consider no fail and no obstacles accessibility mods, so those are still available even in campaign mode, but everything else is not. But you will be able to play all the campaign scenes in arcade mode, which is, you can think of it like kind of free play, and there you can do whatever you want in terms of modifiers and weapon types.
So, like, two questions here. One person's asking about the blank spots in the menu. Are those conflicts?
Blank spots in the menu.
Yeah, those are
yeah,
conflicts.
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, so certain things, certain mods conflict with other mods, and even certain weapon types conflict with mods. So we basically have a system that grays them out when they're not available.
Yeah, like Deadeye doesn't make any difference for Brawler, for example, because you got no bullets. That kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, and especially because of the new leaderboard system, it doesn't make sense to have a whole nother set of leaderboards for something that's not actually affecting gameplay. So we will gray out anything that doesn't make sense. I see someone asked the number of leaderboards per map. There are millions of leaderboards, is the bottom line. So
Is there a way to sort of zero in and get your friend into the same leaderboard? Like, tell them exactly how to find what they need to find to compete with you?
yes. So curation is a huge part of this system, obviously, because we recognized when we first started talking about this that, having millions of leaderboards was awesome, but people would quickly get way too spread out. So that's why, when you see in browse there, as Anthony showed before, you'll see things like trending and featured, and we're basically using the curation as a way to kind of bring people back together. And what's fun about that is it'll be constantly shifting too. So whenever you come into the game, you'll have different trending styles to look at, different featured styles to look at, and the community will kind of like move around with those. On top of that, we have Anthony, if you actually go show the suggested styles.
Yeah, sure.
Like Black Magic has one that's viable. So we have this new styles tab in the menu here where you can see, you'll always be able to see the intended style. So the style that the scene was built for, but also listed with a dev's choice style, which is just going to be one that we've essentially like decided is a really fun style for that particular scene. So that's another place that you're getting some kind of curated styles that you can choose from, and you'll always know that they're fun because we've tested them and specifically put them there. Ultimately, we want to expand on this system and have the curation be like community driven as much as it can be, so that you're able to see really clearly kind of where everybody is and kind of be shifting between leaderboards that way.
Do you have expectations right now for what you think is going to be popular, and do you also expect to be sort of surprised by other things being popular that you don't expect?
Yes, we expect to be surprised. We did an alpha test with about 100 people not too long ago, and we got the data from that, and there was some, of course, all the stuff that was curated was popular, and that's great because it means people were actually seeing that and checking out the featured styles and the suggested styles. But there were some styles in there that were totally like not curated that people just seemed to find, and we definitely expect to see that because the permutations are nearly endless. So there's tons and tons of unique combinations that even we have never seen, right? So fully expect the community to find interesting new ways to play.
Is there a mode that really keys in on dancing? And I noticed there was a mention of Pacifist play. What does that look like?
Yeah, Pacifist is basically just trying to not hit anybody. So you can dance all you want.
Yeah, Pacifist is kind of what I've got as a name style right now for Brawler with no fail on. Obviously, anything that's Brawler, you're kind of doing a Pacifist run because you're going to make it through without hitting a bunch of people. True Pacifist is kind of what I consider not even pistol whipping, so dodging everybody during a melee run. But yeah, it works pretty much the same as no ammo before. But But now you can do it on any scene and with any gun, and you got your hammers and your pencils and your crowbars and everything. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Don't look at those. Let's go in the boss. What happens? I got pencils versus boss.
Fair fight for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's not possible.
How's that gonna work?
Are you doing this?
It's not gonna work very well for you.
I don't understand. You put a gun in my leg.
Another kind of to continue on the question about styles and finding each other. We have a number of ideas for community initiatives to help people kind of surface unique styles that they've found. And I won't get into them in detail right now, but absolutely you can, if you find a cool style, you basically just have to tell people what it is, and what, if you want, what scene and difficulty you're playing on. And then that becomes kind of a battleground, and a lot of those styles will have no scores on them. So it's actually kind of cool because you can go and find a unique place to play that other people haven't really played yet, and invite others to come, play with you through Discord or whatever. I think I'd love to see us set up some kind of rooms for that sort of a thing in Discord that people can come and find a unique place to play for their lunch hour or whatever, and see if other people want to join them.
Yeah. I'd also at some point love to see us have stuff like things from your friends list affecting the styles that are presented to you in game and whatnot. Like that's the sort of thing that we'd love to see down the road. Though the details are obviously something we'd have to figure out, like what's going to be the best way to do that. But there's, like Joel said, a lot of ideas that we've got for ways to make it easy for you to discover what's going on, and for people to kind of coordinate and go new and interesting places together.
And of course, there's tournaments could be part of that as well. Like we can make anybody doing pistol whip tournaments now can pick a specific style, and we can even, if you get in touch with the dev team, like we can even name styles in specific ways. Like, so if you have a big tournament you're putting on and you have a specific style that you want to see used, like potentially we could help you out there and give it a name that actually makes sense with your tournament or something.
Oh wait, I was gonna customize.
It'd also be, we'd also, I think, really like to see some expansions on the challenge system and whatnot. There's all kinds of interesting ways that we could add sort of user initiative to those. But again, it's all stuff where it's like we have ideas, but there's no specific plans for exactly what we would do there. It's just a thing that we see the potential in, and we'd love to see a lot more cool stuff in that.
Yeah. The comment here asking for a Darth Maul staff with a lightsaber type thing. Have you guys talked about going that direction?
We have many times.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go.
The with melee and pistol whip, it's a bit tricky because the game is timing focused, right? So as the enemies run towards you, you're trying to hit them on the beat. And so if the melee weapon is long, then you end up hitting them before the beat. It doesn't matter for scoring, but it does matter for how the game feels. So right now we're starting with melee weapons that have essentially the kind of the same hitbox, and so we're sticking with shorter ones for that reason. But we have some ideas of how to maybe be able to handle that in the future with longer weapons, and maybe even like procedurally shunting back enemy spawns so that the timing still lines up correctly, or just not caring about it. That would be another way to do it. But
yeah, some kind of contextual awareness in the system that you're using a longer weapon with melee that like actually suggests you being farther back in your play space or something like that. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to say what the actual solution is though, but we would love to do it if we can find a way that actually feels good and doesn't worsen the game in some way.
I see somebody asked about reflecting bullets, deflecting. We have definitely played around with deflection, and
Stay tuned, TM.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, we don't have any. Can't promise anything right now, but we're definitely playing with it. We just want to get it right.
What about that throwable question?
Throwables not right now on the table, but and again, it's something we've talked about and could see happening in the future. It's a bit weird for Pistol Whip because you don't have hands in the game, so we'd have to solve some problems that would, might make it a bit tricky. But I mean, we've always talked about getting a whip in there too, right? Because it's Pistol Whip. And
yep.
How does this affect level design? Are you still working on new levels, and are they going to be pretty different going forward after the style system update?
We're definitely still working on new levels. I mean, we're about to release Smoke and Thunder with this update that's going to have 5 all new levels, basically the same format as 2089, and they are completely insane and contain all kinds of surprises that you will find out about later. But basically what we do is
good job.
We design scenes for a specific style. So previously it was only the basic pistol. So every scene was designed for that. Starting with 2089, for the first time we had a scene that was designed for melee, right? You had Cage Fight, which was specifically designed from the ground up to be a no ammo scene, and it feels very different because of that. Now that we have the whole style system figured out and in the game, we can do that even more. So you'll see that all of the Smoke and Thunder levels are designed for specific styles. That lets the level designers, come up with some fun new mechanics and patterns and things. And we've added some extra stuff in there for the Smoke and Thunder that is quite different from anything we've done before as well. But you can still play all the scenes with other styles. So part of the fun, the level designers pay a bit of attention to making sure the scenes are fun, with other styles. But I feel like they generally tend to be, it tends to work out more often than not. That it's just kind of fun and different. And that's part of the fun now of the game, is playing those scenes with styles that they weren't intended for and trying to find what's fun.
So Alex has asked a couple questions here in the comments that I think are pretty interesting. Number one is, have you thought about introducing more randomness to where the enemies are shooting? And then the other question is, have you had any kind of hostage situations where you could get penalized for hitting the wrong spot?
I'll let you handle those ones if you want, Cam. Unless you're not around anymore. Okay.
Hello?
Did you hear the questions?
Yeah, I did. My mic just decided it didn't want to hear me talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see the first hints of a bit of randomness introduced in enemy shooting with the bullet hell modifier. There's definitely room for some other interesting experiences that lean in that direction. So it's a thing there's definitely some further exploration we could do there. And sorry, what was the other bit?
Getting penalized, like a hostage situation.
Civilians.
Speed.
Yeah, so that's a thing that now with styles opening up the ability for us to more freely add modifiers, we'll now have the ability to do a whole bunch of stuff that we've wanted to do from the beginning, but we just couldn't because of the whole unified leaderboard situation and stuff like that. So that is definitely a thing we've talked about, hostages, that kind of thing, but it's obviously not a thing that everybody's going to want. So it's the sort of thing that it'd be likely, a modifier that would add that kind of element to a game optionally. Whether it be, like certain enemies that you just shouldn't shoot that are tagged so that you can play with that style through all other levels, or whether it's procedurally added or hand added other elements there, you know, like actually add legit, you know, like hostages in front of some of the enemies, like that kind of stuff. There's definite potential there. We don't have a specific implementation for that in mind, or like any kind of target delivery date for anything like that, but it's definitely a thing that that is on the table now with the styles system and all the underlying stuff behind it.
Yeah. Basically any mechanics that worked in old light gun arcade games are on the table, because Pistol Whip has always been inspired by those games, and I think we find that things that worked in those games tend to work really well in Pistol Whip. So Civilians was often part of the fun in those games. So I would love to see us get into that. I could kind of use that as a bit of a launching point too, to talk about what Cam was hinting at there with, why we implemented this style system. And it really came down to the fact that, like, maybe even before we originally launched the game, I remember a specific time where we were actually in the studio and playing the game and kind of, sitting around competing and trying out different mods. And, we were playing and then coming up with ideas for mods, and constantly the conversations would end with us just saying, oh, but that'll be impossible to balance. And that often happened because certain combinations of mods with certain, like, depending on the way the level is laid out and the kinds of enemies you run into in the level, like a single percentage modifier just you can't properly balance it. It'll make sense in certain places and not in others. And then on top of that, we've always talked about doing things like actually changing how scoring works. Like, we wanted to be able to have a mode where rhythm scoring is not even part of the mechanics, and you can just, there's a lot of people just want to shoot stuff, and wouldn't it be cool if you could play Pistol Whip and get full scores just for accuracy, or maybe accuracy plus how fast you're shooting enemy, things like that.
Yeah, like time attack or something.
Yeah. So those kinds of concepts kept coming up, and we were like, we want to do these things, we want to add weapon types and do all this stuff, and it always kind of got hamstrung by the balancing issue. And so we started talking about, well, how could we solve that? And this whole idea of essentially making every permutation into its own leaderboard came up, and was and remains a bit of a crazy idea, frankly, but I think with the curation systems that we've come up with, it basically solves all of the balancing issues, so it lets us come up with more and more bonkers changes and additions and mods and weapon types. So that's really one of the reasons that we decided to make this whole thing. And then another thing to mention, for anybody who plays Pistol Whip, you'll know that you can only have one score per scene difficulty, right? So if you have a score on Black Magic hard, with like single pistol, then that's your score, and the only way you can change that is by beating that score. But if you play with a different set of modifiers, like, unless you beat that first score, it does, whatever you got doesn't exist. Like, you're not gonna get a score at all. And I found that really frustrating as well, like, because I was playing with certain modifiers, and I remember being like, it's annoying. I like this set of modifiers, but I can't beat my old score with it, and so it's like I can't record a score, and that really bugs me. So that's now fixed too, or essentially, if you like a certain style, you can play and make, post a score for that, so you can play Black Magic hard in all these different ways, and actually, like, kind of improve on your own scores in any version of that you like. So those were two of the big things we were trying to solve. And then I guess the last one was, we don't want Pistol Whip to be a game that's, only for super hardcore players. And it's really tempting and easy to start shifting into designing more and more for like the top 0.01% of the community. So the style system is actually intended in a lot of ways to let everybody be able to compete on their own level playing field, and that even comes down to like accessibility options. There's a lot of people that need to play with no obstacles on because they just have limited mobility, and we've always people have always told us that they really love that the game gives you options for that, but those options take away your score massively, right? They lower your score by a huge amount, so you can never use those options and actually really be competitive. But that's all gone now. So now, like, people who play with no obstacles on have their whole own set of leaderboards essentially that they can play with and actually be able to compete on an even playing field with other people. So that's kind of another big bonus that we get from all of this is if you only play pistol whip with no fail and no obstacles and infinite ammo, and that's how you like or need to play, you can still play that way and just like kind of find your community that competes in that particular style.
That's so cool. Which weapons do they have right now?
I'm on Brawler Bulletproof right now, so Pacifist. And the brass knuckles specifically.
Yeah, the brass knuckles in particular seem like they're those are the dance weapons, I think.
Oh, that just made me think of a new weapon type we're gonna have to get in, actually. Not a weapon type, but a new brawler weapon. How did I not think of that before?
And a lot of, I guess I'm curious, Anthony, you were in shape before Pistol Whip, but did you get more in shape as a dev since playing this every day?
I would almost assure so, just based on like stamina and based on like how much dodging I can do now compared to before. So like core strength, that kind of thing. A lot of the modern pillar sequences as well, you get kind of a really well-rounded workout with obstacles right now. So I would say so for sure. It's a real workout.
Do you guys integrate with Oculus Move on Quest?
I think the game works with it kind of natively because it's not a it's like a, I think it's an API layer that's between the game and the OS. I'm actually not sure if there's more we can do there. Do you know, Cam?
I don't offhand. That's probably a thing Justin would know more about. But
Yeah.
basically, our state, we have like whatever native support is automatic on that platform we have. I know there's a handful of other things that can be done to kind of bring that sort of thing into the game. We don't have specific plans there, but it is a thing that we talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, fitness in VR has become a thing, and very organically. Like, nobody was pushing it; it just happened, and Pistol Whip happens to be a great fitness game in VR. Totally not by design, but I think we knew when we were playing the game that the fun of it was actually engaging your whole body, and that is designed into the game, obviously, and that just kind of had the byproduct of being a great workout. And now that we have the style system, we definitely want to add some mods that are going to keep pushing that. Bullet Hell obviously does that, but we could do things like mods that lower the obstacles further and add more obstacles and things like that to try to make for different ways to get a workout.
Yeah. One of the other things that we've talked about off and on is even the possibility, and I want to underscore the word possibility here, of something like an actual fitness pack with the scenes that are designed for specific types of workouts and whatnot. It would be awesome to do if we could.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We need to get into some 80s workout music.
Yeah, and there's so many things we could do to make obstacle dodging more demanding and challenging and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I'm seeing several commenters talking about how this update looks like it's made to get them back into the game. I guess is that a good problem to have, that people sort of like exhausted the game and played through every, become super experts, and now you need to take it to the next level? Or and I'm seeing one of the commenters I'm noticing, will there be a website for the leaderboards?
Just to address the first one there, yeah, absolutely. We've always planned on kind of expanding the sandbox nature of this game, because we recognized from really early on that it had the potential to go there. So that's exactly what this update is. It's basically trying to turn the game into more of a sandbox to let the community figure out, the best ways that they want to play, and kind of also provide a never-ending, kind of constantly shifting focus of different play styles. So yeah, absolutely, replayability is kind of the main focus of this whole system.
Yeah, and to just add to that briefly before I go on to the next bit,
sure.
This is pretty much, this is the sort of thing we wanted to be able to deliver right from the beginning. There was just a lot of work required to make it possible. So in a way, this is kind of yes, this is the closest thing you've seen to our initial vision of Pistol Whip. And I'm super excited that we're finally here. We're almost here, I guess, because launch isn't.
Yeah, we've been so lucky with this game, thanks to the amazing support that we've had from the community and our partners, that when we launched the game, we knew it was awesome, and the core gameplay loop was really compelling, and it was this great initial kind of core product, but we already knew so much more about what we wanted to do with it. And I can say as a developer, that's kind of always the case with games. You pretty much always release them in a state that is, not nearly where you would have wanted to take it if you had infinite time and money. And so I feel really fortunate. I know a lot of people in the dev team feel really fortunate that we've had the opportunity with Pistol Whip to continue building it and kind of just continue to turn it into the game that we always knew it could be, even year and a half ago when we released it. The other part of that question was leaderboards on a website, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no plans for that right now, but we definitely discussed how to make something like that happen, because I think with the style system, it'll actually be an even more important feature at some point. So definitely interested in potentially making that happen.
And a lot of the stuff we've done over the last year has been necessary to make that kind of thing possible in a meaningful way too. So
yeah. Yeah, this was a huge overhaul. We literally built a brand new back-end server system, and that's a lot of what we've been doing to make this possible. So it gives us a lot of control over the game, kind of in between updates, because there's so much happening through the live server now that we can change styles and update them and rename them and all that live without updating the client, and that's going to benefit the game in a whole bunch of other ways going forward as well. We have plans for other features too that are going to use that functionality now that it's built, so that we can continue moving towards the game kind of constantly evolving and changing and feeling more like a live service game. Something I should mention too that I don't think we said before is that because of that whole new system, all of the Oculus players and Steam players are on single leaderboard now. So our leaderboard system. So we have cross-platform leaderboards for those two. PlayStation's still on its own set, mostly for technical reasons. But everybody else, if you have friends in the Oculus or Steam ecosystem, you can now compete with them.
Yeah, it's wild. It's been wild for me to see the evolution of this game and know that you devs have been you had this very big, long vision for it, but you had to kind of get the support of that community to get it realized. And how? I guess I'm wondering, is this a forever game? Do you think you're going to be working on this 5 or 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, in some form, absolutely. Like, it's clearly, when you have a game that has such a fun core loop that is so simple but so fun, you know, without any of the kind of extra features around it, it's not something you happen upon all the time in game development. You know, like sometimes it's way more of a struggle to find the fun, but this game just had, you know, we have some really amazing developers that had a lot of experience in VR when we were developing this and understood what was cool about the medium, and you know, that core heart of it, you know, as long as we kind of maintain that and make sure we're not deviating too far from it, I think the game could go in so many directions. I mean, you could see that with what we've done with the campaigns too. Like 2089 was a big risk for the game. You know, we adding story to Pistol Whip was, you know, not something that looked super smart on paper.
Yeah, on paper it looked like a terrible idea.
Yeah, exactly. But the reason we were able to pull it off and people loved it so much, I think, was because we really understand this game and what is great about it. And when we designed that experience, we made sure that the ways in which we were adding the story were not going to step on what was fun about the game in the first place. We very easily could have ruined the game with that, but we were just very thoughtful about how we did it. So that's kind of an example of how the game, I think, due to that really strong core, as long as we maintain that strong core and keep it in mind whenever we're extending the game, I think it could go in so many different directions.
It's been a year and a half. Do you have any idea if Keanu Reeves has gotten anywhere close to Pistol Whip yet?
I wouldn't be surprised. We always hear about people that we would never have thought played Pistol Whip, but they do. So I wouldn't be surprised. We don't have any proof of it, but I mean, how could he not? How could he not have touched it by now? He'd be good at it too. We've all seen the videos of him in the shooting ranges. Anthony, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ian.
No, it just people are dodging there with their heads in the comments. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. Did we show off? We showed off heavies, the kind of double enemy armor. I don't think we've talked about Headhunter yet.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Yeah, I can go back to it.
Yeah, so Headhunter is another new mod that basically makes it so that you have to shoot enemies in the head. And oh, that one is threatless. Oh,
yeah, I've got it on as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Headhunter is all about headshots, and it makes the game a bit harder. It's not like crazy harder like Deadeye, but you basically have to hit heads. If you hit the bodies, then it's going to bounce off. It does still have some auto aim, so it's not like full on you have to get headshots right out of the gate. But of course, you can pair it with Deadeye, and then you have Deadeye Headhunter, which means you have to hit heads or nothing's gonna happen. And that mode is really hard. I really love it though. You have to become like a serious sniper, but it's kind of like the next level up of Deadeye, and I think some people are really gonna enjoy that.
Are you guys? What are you thinking of as far as paid DLCs? I mean, it seems like you needed this system to open up a lot more things for you, but I guess I'm curious, when are we going to see that sort of thing? There's people in the comments saying, let me pay you more money, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on that at this point.
Yeah, I think we'll just start a GoFundMe and just get people to donate to forever. No, I don't. I right now we don't have any plans for paid DLC, but we'll see what happens in the future.
Well, like season passes, is that a route? Because I'm seeing a lot of VR games go around the season pass approach.
Yeah. It's totally a route we could go. Right now, again, we feel super lucky that we're able to just keep on improving the game, and as long as the VR base keeps growing, we can do that. And one of the big advantages of that is that we're not splitting up our player base, right? And that was a big concern when we started talking about all that stuff, is that, oh, okay, do you have these scenes or not? Do you have these mods or not? And how does that just makes everything more complicated from a user perspective? So we've avoided it up until now, but I think, going forward, there's absolutely models that could work if we feel like it's something people want to see, and if it lets us make even more content and even more premium stuff, then absolutely we could go that way. We're very careful with it because the team is not we do not like games that are constantly nickel and diming and just making the whole experience more complex with those kinds of business models. But there are really cool paid DLC models as well. So
yeah, one of the Alex here I think it's Alex has been coming up with some pretty crazy good mode ideas here. But Headhunter plus reflection on the bullets if you hit them in the body.
That happens.
Yeah, with vengeance.
Yes, that is actually one of the things Anthony loves about Headhunter is.
I missed that. Jeez.
Vengeance makes you pay if you hit the body. Yeah. So you need to be extra careful with that combination. Another one that's Anthony, you should show. I want to see you struggle through Deadeye Headhunter.
Okay.
Just go on easy with a pistol or something. Yeah, you really have to. I find when
cruel.
It's
cruel. You just took one of the game's best players, a dev of the game, make him look like he's a novice.
It's amazing though how you adapt to this. I played it a bunch around the alpha, and it got to the point where even the farther away guys was hitting them probably 60 or 70% of the time, and I have no doubt that people in the community will master this style.
Oh, I can't wait to see the crazy stuff the community does with all of these. I also kind of like the fact that we now have a Deadeye trainer mode, because if you do Deadeye Big Head, then you do have a nice big juicy target.
That's true. That's a really good point. So part of the fun of this is you can put on super hard mods, but also put on a bunch of the easier mods and kind of balance it out and come up with unique playstyles that are kind of, exactly what Cam said. Make those heads big, and now all of a sudden it's possible.
So the threatless, previously unarmed foes is now viable as well. You can totally just go in with target practice like this,
Yeah.
People don't shoot you back, and this is a leaderboard. You can compete on this leaderboard.
This is crazy. It's incredible to see the commenters already kind of coming up with their own systems, the ways they want to play this game with the new style system.
Yeah, that's what we're super excited to see. The idea for this literally was pitched a year and a half ago, and it's been a road to get it here, but we're super glad that we got to do it, because it's going to be really fun to let the community go nuts. And like I said, we're going to keep supporting it, and we want to hear how people think it can be better, and what kind of curation options they think would be useful, and how we can support it socially outside of the game to let people kind of find each other and find communities to play with in the game based on particular styles.
Well, I think we're going to wrap up the stream soon. If anybody has any last minute questions, let us know in the comments here, and we'll get them in front of the devs here. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got Cloudhead Games, Joel, Cameron, and Anthony. Anthony, are you tired yet?
I am quite tired, yeah. But having fun. Good stuff. Thanks for all the style suggestions, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Be the merciful, not killing the Easter egg dudes. Oh.
I've seen people in the comments suggesting cosmetics as a way of not nickel and diming people, but while still, taking their money. Yeah, people want merch. They want to modify their quests now to play Pistol Whip with Pistol Whip. I like that idea of I need somewhere to put my sweat, and having some clothes and even even accessories for the headset would help with that.
That would be amazing.
Yep. We want merch too.
People are pushing for a solid date for the update. What can you say officially about the release window for this? Just this summer, right?
Yeah, we're still on this summer. I can say everything's going really well. The game is awesome, and no big concerns. So it's going to come this summer. I can't give a better date than that right now, but of course, everything we were showing today was just the whole style side of things, which is sort of one big half of this update. But in the exact same update, you're going to get a brand new campaign, which Anthony's not going to shoot right now, for fear of spoilers. But yeah, whole new cinematic campaign. Smoke and Thunder is turned out really awesome. I'm so excited for everybody to play it. Musically, it's a huge departure for the game from what you're used to. We got a really awesome soundtrack for it, and it's not the usual fare of what you're used to for Pistol Whip. So and so far the feedback on it has been really great. So yeah, super excited to do another thing like this at some point where we get to show that whole side of things, because that's, yeah, it's very exciting on top of all the styles.
All right. Well,
also let us add something we've been wanting to have as a gameplay element basically since the beginning. So it's really exciting for us too in that way, or me at least. I'm assuming others don't want to speak for everyone.
Just giving all the teases you can. I can't wait to get into everything that you guys are going to release. The commenters have been losing their minds, this whole chat, with everything that they've been seeing, and the way the game changes with the melee mode is pretty wild. I can't wait to see how many people, just like everything you guys said, people are going to discover new ways to play this game upon release, and I can't wait to see what they do. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we had Cloudhead Games, Joel, Cameron, and Anthony here showing off the style system for Pistol Whip. It's coming this summer with some incredible new modes. We've had Anthony in there in VR this entire time, getting very, very tired. And thank you so much for playing, and we'll see you next time. Can't wait to see the next update on Pistol Whip.
Yeah, thank you everybody at Upload for making this happen, and thank you to the dev team for creating this incredible update that's surpassed the expectations we ever had when we were designing it. And thank you to the fans, everybody who keeps playing the game and being part of our awesome community. So
Yes.
we'll have more to show very soon about all of this stuff with Smoke and Thunder, but this was super fun. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Action Heroes. You're the ones who've made this all possible for us.
It's true.
Thanks for coming out, folks.